with some students over the holidays, like a handful of students to give them. But the long and the short of it is they're focused on having students have a place to come in world to socialize. It's not about like, oh, we have to teach using virtual worlds. No, students need, people want places to hang out and talk to each other. So, what he designed, the world he has, he's going to put all any classrooms or anything else, they're going to put in skyboxes and the building and everything else up in the air. Down on the ground is like waterfalls, beaches, beautiful places to hang out, coffee shop, bicycles to ride around, so that students can get together and just hang out, talk about their schoolwork, talk about their problems. So I just thought that was really interesting. Yeah.
Security issues.
There's some workarounds. Well, yeah, there's some workarounds with that. The island is not open to the public. You have to be a member of their group to get in there.
But
And they have a login thing.
Going into the non-secure, I mean, the students going into non-secure areas, do they care?
They have a way, and I don't know how this works, the technical side of it. I'd like to learn because I think this is good to know. I think there is a way. They said something about this. I just don't know the technical side of it. But when the students create Second Life accounts, now, of course, they can work around this. Once a student gets into Second Life and goes, oh, you know what? I want to get beyond this place. I want to go to other places. I'm going to create a second avatar with my personal email account and come in here and like go look at porn. That's not going to, you can't stop adults from doing what they're going to do, stupid stuff. But so when it creates the avatars, it's limited to, they've got only content that's rated general. No, they pre-screen the content in the avatars, and they can't go elsewhere, anywhere that's not rated G or moderate. They can't go to the anything, rated R or whatever. So, yeah. So.
One hopes they got a deal.
Yeah, I wonder about that too. Like, but anyways, so I think it's just good for us in virtual worlds that if there's one more, thing this semester that's like, yeah, we're doing this because, students, everybody feels socially isolated and they want options to socialize. It's like, well, this is the solution that works for everybody. No special equipment needed.
Ask you, I mean, do you think that this is signaling a little bit of a paradigm shift at Linden over academic use and possibly pricing?
I wish. I don't know the politics of Linden. Other people like Sidearm might know more, and other people that have been in Second Life in particular for a long time probably know more. But you'd think so. If I were at working for Linden Labs, I'd be like, I would have said this a year ago, especially right at lockdown. Oh, we need to retool everything and support education. We need to like set up a whole separate thing that protects and like takes all the X-rated stuff and puts it entirely put away. You can't access it. Like, yeah, there should be something special for education. You think it'd make it a priority.
If they don't, yeah, it takes away the.
They are leaving money on the table. There are, yeah. If they could do that for us, Eileen, take away the sleaze factor. Just make it just go away. So somebody else can create a second account and go in there and do that. That's fine. But educators want something that they can just do out of the box and not have to worry about that kind of thing. So like a separate portal, like a separate login, right? Create an account and it's an educator, it's a special for educators account or something. And they could just set that up on their end, it seems, but yeah.
A K-12, I agree with you. But for a higher academic use, I mean, I think Verbella maybe have given them a bit of a scare and a run for their money.
Yeah, maybe.
They used to have, Second Life initially did have discounts for education, and they had a K-12 version. I forget what they called it. But all of this went away in around 2010, which was when I had to back out because everything got pricey. They took away the educator's discount. And the problem's always been that it's fine because you can show up and use it, and if you've got a professor who's using it, but it was cost prohibitive in something like Empire State College where students wanted to make their own islands. So there were some other problems. And then they had the lockdown that you couldn't bring in content. So that's some of the restrictions there with Second Life. But it would be nice. And I think I went to that meeting today and I was just mostly listening. But I think that it will be good. The problem I have though right now is, even with this Marion Island, I force people in. In the beginning courses, they have to come in. So they know how to get in. I say over and over, it's open for use. But I think unless you give them something, you have to kind of bring something in for them to kind of want to come in. So my fear is that, yeah, it'll be a nice place, but unless they feel motivated, and if you've got younger students, they're already in all these other things. So, I think the challenge I have is, okay, I've got this space, my students even know how to get into it, but do they come back and use it without, a huge amount of work logistically setting up things? And Scott, you were working with Diane on setting up something. It wasn't virtual reality, but did that become self-perpetuating, or did you have to keep on pushing it?
It's kind of in stasis at the moment. I know Diane had some setbacks of her own to deal with, and COVID, and of course the budget got gutted. The site is still, as far as I know, operational, but I have not seen boo in terms of any activities or push events, so to speak. Because last semester we really were trying to push it to as many people, and we did have some lovely success on our Friday afternoon chats and presentations. But I think life kind of got a little bit complicated. Yeah, it's bringing on and also scheduling the events and who wants to present. And as you know perfectly well, yeah, it's far too easy, especially as complicated as life is. Yeah, we had great social events, I have to tell you, because it occurred right with the beginning of the lockdown. So a lot of us were going a little bit nutty, and by Friday afternoon, we just needed some, bring a glass of wine and sit on Zoom and crack jokes. Yeah, and talk.
So yeah, I had something to say and now it's kind of escaping me. Other than I had a New Year's Eve party in Mozilla Hubs, which was fun, really cool. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. As far as like bringing people in and having something for them to learn how to do, at some point in 2021, I have an idea for. I'm glad because seriously, I'll send you guys I'll show you the video. Let me grab the video because I have this like 2-minute video. Because it was awesome. I mean, my friends. There was only a few people showed up. My sister and a few people, but. None of them were our colleagues or whatever who've been in virtual. My sister's a gamer; she's been in virtual spaces, but not VR. Yeah, they were just regular people. My friends who they'd never been in Mozilla Hubs, and it was like, oh my God, this is yeah. So it was fun. But I wanted to mention that I have this big win. I am excited about something I accomplished that made me feel really good, and I could do a training for some for some event or whatever on making a non-player character, because I finally got a little tiny bit of success at Limeland. I'm working on this the big thing for the cruise ship, the extra credit. The course starts on January 20th. I'm like, I'm not done. I have a lot of work still to do. But one of the things I was trying to do is, I found something where, because you have these little static ones, right? These little static, person standing here. And I was like, I've seen like moving ones or whatever, and there's different ways to make them, but I found something, I can't remember where I got it, but it's free to share or whatever. But you basically just so I need to write up the little like tutorial, like here's how you do it. And I'd walk people through and show them, but you dress yourself like however you want. So I created an avatar for my cruise ship as the junior assistant purser, Miss Amania. And you drop a note card. You get a special note card that tells this is the character, that how you're dressed is going to be the non-player character. And then you drop the note card in this prim, and then you click on it, and poof, she appears. And so it's you with your animation going. So I'm standing right next to the avatar that I created. She looks just like me, and my animation breathing and kind of standing there. You know how you gesture you got your AO going. That's all I had. You could make yourself dancing or whatever. Just my AO. I just wanted it to look like a person was standing there. And you guys, I'm so excited about this. I'm such a geek. I was like, I want her to talk. I don't want her to just give a note card, right? And I was like, there's got to be an easy way. It is. It's this easy. You guys, I just made a little audio clip of myself. I just pitch changed the voice a little bit. A little audio clip. And you upload it just like a picture. And you drop the audio file into the Prim. And you like, so like I could show you guys if you want to check this out. You click on her, shows up. And the audio is spatial too, so if you're far away, you don't hear her talking. So I can have her in different parts, and you can have different characters. So I'm just super excited that so when people arrive at Limeland at the cruise ship for this thing, yeah, you know what? I meant to check on her Saley's. I've been to her one of her that Multiverse Masters, and I remember looking at that and going, "Oh my gosh, she's got all this interesting stuff. She's done all this. I need to come back and learn from her." So I just. Too many virtual, not enough. But
You know, the last time I was on Sally's World, she had everything scaled back. She put away all the fun stuff. It was just
oh
a
no,
open plain, yeah. And
oh
she had that Roman warrior that used to chase you through one of the back fields.
oh
Kind
wow.
of interesting. I've tried a few NPCs, and they totally messed up Shadow Glen, and
Uh
had me delete them.
oh. Oh, what did you? Oh,
I don't know. So I've been a little leery about trying them since then.
I could break something. I don't. It's like I don't know what I'm doing. But it works.
Make sure you back up your world first.
Okay.
The time that you guys came to the island and I couldn't speak was after I had been messing with the NPCs. I deleted them all, but NPCs leave a residual scripting command that you cannot delete. It's really tricky sometimes.
How do you guys back up your world? Do you do it? You don't do it from in here on Firestorm. I didn't see a backup.
The website.
Oh, I need to
From
go look at
Kitely.
it.
Yeah, from
I'm gonna go.
Kitely.
I'm gonna look at that right now.
Yeah.
Kylie, manage
You
world.
can either store it or you can download it as an OAR,
Right.
and just re-upload it again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I tried.
I'm gonna log in right now. I'm all like, I mean, I was just there, you know, it's still there, but I am afraid, like, oh gosh, what if I did? I don't want to break it.
Well, I had a lot
Yeah.
of restate
And I export mine a lot. And when it exports, it saves the whole file. It's called an export. And somewhere in my documentation too. But you're right. You go in from the website. The thing too is they give you a second file that tells you any problems. Be sure you open that. And I've had trouble with scripts also from things like horses and camels that make
those-
sounds.
those
Sometimes the
hyper-
sounds have done stuff.
don't always jive with Kitely, and occasionally an LSL script can be problematic too. I've noticed.
So you just click on export the world, and oh, it is. It's just gonna give me an OER file.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna.
Download it, and you have 24 hours to download it or whatever.
Oh, okay.
from memory.
Nice.
Yeah, I
I'm doing
think
that
you
right
went under
now.
files. You go
Yep.
into manage files. You'll see you can export, and I import export all the time. I'm setting up some files for the next round of courses because not everybody takes the full course that I have to make an island, but some of them want to do it, and so I've created some small short courses, and I created a whole island where I just put stuff in it, and it takes longer than you think to put a lot of stuff out. And as I kept on putting things in, actually, if you go to Marion Test, you'll see. And I dumped a lot of NPCs there, and I did find a lot of crashes. So, it's a conflict with different scripts, and I'm not smart enough to know all the scripts. So
old Marion Test that had the palace and the elephant and the tiger and
yes.
whatever it was.
Oh, yeah.
Is it still up, or what do you have up now? I thought it was all.
I think I put one that I called. Well, I'm calling it stuff. I'll show you what I'm trying to do is get people up to speed quickly. The problem with Kitely is you can't do IARs. You can't upload inventory items separately.
Yeah,
Which-
that's a bummer.
Yeah, and that's why it's $20. Years ago, I was using something called Dreamweaver Metaverse, and it let you do that. It was twice as much money. And I always have to think of what students can come in and afford. Month by month, they have to pay the $20. So they have to learn how to scavenge. So what I always tell them to do is upload a bunch of islands, and Outworlds has a whole bunch. Find things that you like you upload the pirate island, and you find a theme of pirate, put those in your inventory. So that's the best way to get things. but people often don't do that. So then they're looking for items. And you can go to Linda Kelly, but her stuff is what they call old school by now. So it takes up a lot more space. It doesn't use meshes. So, her stuff, will kind of burden your island with a lot of overhead. So I was just trying to get a quick thing for students. So I used Marion Test as my island. I just play with it. But Scott, I am putting some of my old islands. The one that I had, be careful with terraforming, because the original Marion Test I had just morphed over time. I terraformed a lot. It got full of glitches. It's almost impossible to get them out.
That's
Where
I'm afraid to export Shadow Glen, because I baked it all in, but I'm
Did you do it? Yeah.
terrified of what's going to happen.
Yeah. You can pay. Kitely has a thing where it comes to about $1 a month, where they call, what do they call it? Copying your island. And they charge you either every day or every week. And it looks a lot, but it really doesn't come out to much. So that way you always have a safe backup. So I've done that at times too, but after a while the charges keep on building up. And, I'm paying $40 a month for this one. And it's out of my own pocket. By the time I got Empire State College to pay, it wouldn't be worth the hassle. But, but I have to try to keep it inexpensive for students. So anyway, but, just for all of you, you're ESC builders. And I tried to go in, because Scott's going to do some terraforming. I did save the island before. I said, if it gets all messed up, I can bring up this island again. But you're ESC builders. And I can't find what they did years back. The original stuff came from Second Life. And Second Life had the ability to parcel out sections. I don't understand this fully, but they have something called bar islands. So it's really just one big island. And it makes it almost impossible to put different sections and give them different traits. So I wasn't able to figure out. So I could either turn on terraforming for everybody or for nobody. And so I found something in the ESC builder group. I think I made it so you guys can go in and turn terraforming on and then turn it off. I think you have that control. I don't know if Scott got a chance to try it. Yeah, but if not, I'll turn terraforming on. And Scott wants to get some neat stuff for next week. So, and in the meantime, if the students mess it up, I have the other version to bring up again. I'd rather people experimented than didn't.
Yeah, it looks like terraforming's on for me.
Oh, good.
That's a
you
little
should be able
scary,
to do it. Yeah, I have ruined that. That's how the other one got so glitchy. I terraformed it too much.
Everybody, I went ahead and sprung for the. There's a terraforming tool in the Kitely market that allows you to have a little bit more control. It's like a flattening crimp. Set the size of it, much like you set the terraforming grid size, but basically you're setting up, you got that too? It's an actual crimp that you can scale up as big or as small as you want, and it's really good for smoothing out hills, I discovered.
Nice.
There is a learning curve to it, yes. It's not completely perfect. However, I was also burying passageways, so you wanted a nice rectangular channel.
Oh, I should have gotten that and learned how to use it before I did all the work manually.
Yeah, it worked well for that, and for quickly smoothing things out, because you'd be putting a channel underground, and then I'd have a mountain in the middle of my hallway, and I'd have to try and it was cheap, but it was it was fun. I played with it for quite a while, but so interesting week.
Yeah, so you guys, well, Scott, you've got, and I know Al, you've probably the same thing, right? I mean, you've got multiple locations, Eileen, so you can kind of toggle back between here and Marion Test. That's a different region, right? I just have one region.
I have
wish
two. I own both islands.
Yeah,
so I pay for both.
Island. It's everything.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Mine is the same, and I wish you could section out and say. Do you guys know if there's any way? Well, I guess it's just you control building permissions by, you know, a group, and then at least you're not letting the general public build. I don't want to let general public, but
You cannot control regions or parcels the way that you can in Second Life. With Kitely, it's an all or nothing island wide.
yeah, that's a bummer. I was hoping I could just have a sandbox like up in the sky and just say the building area is at 3,000 meters and not below or something like that, but oh well.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. Um,
Mm.
so next week, I'm putting together just a quick little presentation on working with SketchUp to create simple functional prims. I mean, the real trick, just shell here, is that you cannot create anything too complicated in SketchUp and import it into Kitely. You really are better served by using the native building tools and saving SketchUp for those elements that you just cannot create using the tools here in Second Life, because the tools in Second Life are optimized to load as quickly as possible. The physics all work on them very cleanly. When you start messing with importing things into our DAE files, Collada files,
Mm-hmm.
Kitely, or even into Second Life, the physics, especially if it's something that you want to walk on or under or whatever like that, can start to get real top heavy, and Kitely does not support anything excessively complex. It's one of the reasons they manage to function the way they do. Yes, so the buildings have vertices inside them. And what you're essentially building, I mean, I was explaining this to Jonathan Selhady last semester. He was building a lovely building. He built a Hojo's, which was hilarious, right down to the menus and the salt shakers. He wanted to import it into Second Life, and I kept telling him, it's not going to work. You cannot import a building into OpenSim. It's not going to res, it's going to collapse, it's going to cause all kinds of glitches. You have to import the doorway. You have to import the ceiling. And then assemble it, which is why they provide the sandbox here in Kitely. So you can assemble your builds here, save them, and then you can, it won't work either. It's just way too, I mean, it's detailed. And for SketchUp, he did a beautiful job. I mean, he really got into the program, but it's not a one-to-one translation going into virtual reality.
Wait, are you talking about Sketchfab or SketchUp?
SketchUp.
Oh, okay. I've not ever worked with that.
There's an open source version of it that's free, and that's
Okay.
perfectly fine for students, because all you're really going to build for students are doorways. Remember that there's no such thing as a window in virtual reality. Windows are actual textures with a PNG file with the alpha channel dropped out, so it's clear.
Right.
Unless you're going to jump through a window, you don't need a window in Second Life. All you need are doorways that you're going to walk through, or an odd shape. And even then, you have to be careful, because the more complex the shape gets, the more triangles, the more vertices it takes, and you really need to break it down simpler and simpler and simpler. And you'll see next week. I've got a couple of things just for comparison. I just tried building some complex things and importing them in, and they look really cool, but you can't walk on them. You get stuck inside, you jam up. It's a learning curve, to say the least.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to that as well.
So, God willing, I get another 10 minutes to myself this week. Other than that, where are we going after this?
You mean like our next meeting in February, or what do you mean?
Up next here for INP, and then do we have any thoughts moving forward about? I know there was that event Sidearm. They were having that in Verbella tonight, wasn't it?
Yeah. I think.
But I have X number of hours to the day.
Yeah. I was going to mention something we probably should talk about at some point. I'm keeping an eye on let me see here. It's too many emails. Virtual World's Best Practices in Education Conference, presentations. Deadline for proposals is on the 13th. God, that's soon. And then iLearn is coming up as well. So, and let's see, when is that one? I gotta get I'm gonna do probably a proposal for an immersive, just some kind of show and tell tour at the Amani cruise ship in Limeland. But I wondered if we wanted to coordinate something to talk about INP specifically, or plans, or a panel presentation, or I don't know, but just looking at the dates, we'll have to, and oh, that brings me to, have we heard anything about educators in VR 2021? I haven't seen a call for anything.
No. And the answer to your question, Eileen, Verbella, there's no charge to join, as I recall, but the charge is essentially, what is it, $1 a person? Roughly, I think Diane and I looked at it at one point. If you're going to host an event,
Oh, it's expensive.
yeah, it's like, well, maybe no, it's more than that. Maybe it's $10 a person for the
Oh,
number
it's
of people that you want to host.
Oh, it's more than that. I mean, that's the number they probably charge. Yeah, they charge per person, but also there's the base fee.
$8 a month, and that's for virtually nothing. No.
For how much?
$100 a month. And
Oh, at least. Yeah,
it's
it's
it all. And then I think an event the size of iLearn last year was upwards of $5,000.
yeah. I talked to them for the event I did in Mozilla Hubs for the College of Business, for that big thing where I had 43 rooms, because I was like, I wonder what this would cost if we did it there, because that would have been great. It would have started at $1,700, which of course I didn't have the budget for. And I was like, for like an hour-long event.
Yeah, yeah.
I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, Verbella's beautiful, but
and it's a nice interface, I have to say. They've done a good job
yeah.
with it.
Yep. The only thing that we're missing is basically is well, I think with the simplified interface, like really all it is it's a baby interface. So that's screen gate. Is it scene gate? Okay, scene gate, and then having people standing at the landing zone saying, "Welcome to the Second Life, welcome to Kitely, welcome to Limeland." You know what I mean? Let me show you around or something. I don't know. I do like it. Don't get me wrong, but.
Well, back to what you're saying, though, I think a presentation on the part of INP would not be a bad idea if there is a suitable venue.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want to promote, I mean, I think I want to network more broadly and get more people to know about us and what we're doing here in Kitely and other virtual environments. And yeah, so iLearn is a conference that's not focused on virtual worlds, and so yeah. So I think with that one for sure, we need to think about presenting at that. And educators in VR, I really feel strongly that was one that we definitely want. We don't want to miss it. I don't see anything on their website.
That's going to be my New Year's gift to myself. So
To go what?
Go to educators in VR. I'm going to get an Oculus.
Yeah. Oh, you don't need it. You can use it. Yeah. Well, you need a desktop. You can just go on a desktop, but you have a Mac, right?
Supposedly the new viewer, there is a viewer compatible that's gone beyond the beta set. I just haven't had the courage to download it yet because I've got a lot going on, and if I screw up, I'm going to be pissed. But I will give it a try. But when are the deadlines? I've seen some of the conference requests, and frankly, I just haven't had the brain power to focus on deadlines. Has iLearn announced any call for papers or call for presentations yet?
Yeah. iLearn. Let me see here. I have it on my. iLearn. Where is it? Oh, for heaven's sakes. iLearn. iLearn conference. Yeah. So the dates. I should just forward you this, guys. I will. I'll just forward this to you. Main round submission deadlines. All submission types welcome. The 15th of this month. So I'm going to just forward this email. I've had it for a little while. Let me see here. Forward.
Applying for a panel presentation as a group like you did last year that I kind of barged in on?
Whatever you guys want to do. Let's see.
That was the group that you were up there with, the IC contingent.
Who are you talking to? I'm sorry, I'm on my email.
Because Eileen did a dynamite presentation last year at iLearn.
I
Yeah.
think I did an overview of just how long we've been in VR spaces, but there are so many ways to take it if we really want to
Yeah, I
focus on
think it's
INP.
worthwhile if you can pull together the submission blurb that we can get up there as an INP group to discuss everything that your students have done collectively and the direction we're trying to take it. And I mean, that's where we picked up Sidearm.
Yeah. Plus, I'm going to have to leave at 7:30, so if I miss things, could you send them to me? But just in terms of what we're doing now, Scott owns the month of January. He's going to give me a blurb so I can start inviting people.
Okay.
Bethany, you own the month of February. I
Yep.
own March. I might be working with Sidearm on some of those things. We haven't talked, but I think he might be kind of the guest speaker. Then I think Sean was going to, well, I'll have to check. We were going to just keep on cycling.
Yeah.
But we really still have to talk about kind of ongoing strategies. The idea is, this spaces here can be a starting point, but I don't think we should limit ourselves. And I'll keep on adding to the list the students that we get from Empire State College. I just find, it's the nagging people that's critical. And everybody's been glad to come. Also, too, for this, I don't know if it would matter too much to you, Bethany, but we had a woman, Meg Benke, who was really big. She was part of the group that brought in Second Life years ago. She's a good grant getter. She's been bumping up and down through the college. Our college has been really crazy because we got a new president. Next thing we know, he's become the president. He's become the chancellor of the SUNY system. He jumped in with big policy stuff, and now he's like front and center because he's Mr. COVID. So Meg has bumped back and forth up to acting president, and now I hear she's coming back to faculty. And I know she likes all of this kind of leading edge stuff. And she was big in Middle States, and she's very well networked. I'm not, she is. So she might be coming back. She was really pushing iLearn last year, which is kind of what pushed me into it. So I'm hoping she'll bring some more things forward. And I don't know, but wait, Al, you worked with Meg. She's coming back, but it's not clear in what role. And somebody said maybe she'll even be the dean of the graduate department. So anyway, but that's an important strategic thing. But if I do have to leave before you finish, Scott, if I could get a blurb from you, I'll just work month by month and keep on inviting people. But anything that you think, there are so many ways we could go with iLearn. So anyway, that's enough from me. I'll turn my mic off.
And if there is a proposal to put forward for a panel discussion or anything like that for iLearn, I don't have the brain capacity right now to pull together another poster submission. I think
Eileen, go ahead. Sorry. I just want just a little side note. I don't, Eileen, if you're going to be in touch with Meg at any time soon, I had received a friend request, through Messenger on Facebook, from Meg, and I began a conversation, and I soon realized that the person who was supposed to be Meg was not Meg. I mean, some of the writing was atrocious. I knew right away this is not a doctor, a PhD. So I emailed Meg, and I have not received back. This was right before the holidays, so I assume that she just was not, paying attention to her work email over the holidays. But she has been hacked, so she should know that.
Oh, good to know. But I will tell you one thing with Meg: she was never a writer. She was brilliant. She was a brilliant networker. She'd be at every meeting. She'd be very quiet, and then at the end, she would jump in and say something brilliant. But she was never a writer. So just because it was poorly written, but if it was more than that, she certainly would never have been inappropriate. But she was not good at checking
Well,
grammar or spelling or
yeah, my
anything.
typing is horrendous. So
This was not Meg. At some point, they were trying to push some sort of a um, I don't know, some sort of a group from India. It wasn't her.
Yeah,
it
can I
was
interest
It was
you in
yeah,
a
yeah.
Nigerian bank account.
No,
Yeah.
not quite that, but
Homa. But
anyway, she said
Al,
that.
I saw Google Poly, which makes all these great 3D stuff, is going down. So is
Yep.
Google Expeditions and Google Tour, which concerns me because, I've been trying, that's easy entry for K-12. And, I've been always kind of pushing that. But do you have any sense of what Google is doing? I also heard they were getting unionized. And I know there's a lot of
There,
money being cut. So, any
no,
news on
there's
Google?
a lot of stuff going on at Google, and they're just not communicating. I have not received a lead from Google since like first week in November. And after about a week or two, I tried getting in touch with the Street View team, and no one has really gotten. Eventually, I use a third-party software called Go Through that is an easy-to-use tour builder that then they have the Google API, and through Go Through, I'm able to post right onto Google these virtual tours. I have not so through one of the owners of Go Through, they got back to me and they said uh, they've stopped giving out leads, and I just don't know what the current state or what the future of Street View is going to be for me particularly, but it's obvious that there are a lot of changes going on at Google. They're um, they're trying to charge for um, use of the API. There's a whole very complicated payment schedule, and no one could answer my question as to do I have to now pay for these leads. So I've really not I don't know what's going on, but there are major changes at uh, Google Maps. So um, if I hear anything, I'll certainly share it. But yeah, changes going on.
Yeah, and I just remember when I was at IBM in the 1980s. When I started in the scientific division because I was a chemist, and IBM came out with a computer for labs, and so I came in through the science area. Then they put us out of business. They put the lab part out of business, and I became part of regular Big Blue. And that was when the PC came out. Like you couldn't, IBM was doing so well that they tried to break it up with the antitrust. And so, but by the end of the 80s, they were, already going under from competition. IBM was told it had to compete, whereas the Macs were, nobody was paying attention to Macs. So
Yeah.
Macs closed their architecture. IBM had to open the architecture. Thus, we have the computer revolution.
Hmm.
But it was still, I've learned from being in technology since the 70s. The one thing you can be sure is that big guys are going to fall, or you just don't know what to believe. So, I'm still here trying to nickel and dime it for students coming into Empire State College. We don't have a lot of money. So, anyway, but it's just another one of those foundation places that, I've come to rely on so much. I'm getting worried about it.
It's been an interesting year again.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, large companies are trying to find new revenue sources, and everybody's been affected by this, so um, there are surprises and there are reorganizations left and right, and the dust has not quite settled yet. It'll take a
Mm.
while.
Yeah. Oh no, I think the ripples haven't really even started to be felt.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm even noticing it in the local school. Have friends who are teachers in the local school districts here, and they're looking 2, 3 years out, and so uncertain about where things are going to end up. And And as we've talked, it's like, well, we've had to adapt to a lot of very big changes very quickly, and I don't think a lot of these changes are necessarily going to be going away, even once COVID does. So it's going to be a new landscape, that's for sure.
Mm.
Online communications have grown in the last 9 months, and a lot of it is here to stay. People are realizing, companies are realizing, um,
You
the
don't have to
commuting
be in an
costs.
office.
You don't have to be in an office, and people are actually more productive and they'll work longer hours. They'll work a few
Yep.
hours, take a break, take care of the kids, do this, do that, and then come back and, work into the evening. And you get a lot more productivity out of people when, they can, sort of have control over their schedules, a lot more than having, all that schlepping. And, so, and the commercial real estate market is going to change in a
Oh,
major way.
Oh
absolutely.
yeah.
The need for
So
it is going away. It's also, we've exposed the technology gap
Hmm.
to greater degree than ever before, but this has also forced people to step into the vacuum.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
again, more ripples.
I
Yeah.
mean
I'm
it.
going
And
to probably have to take off soon myself here because I'm in a hotel room in Connecticut and still have hours of work to do before a meeting. But
mm.
All right.
Before you head out, I just wanted to let you guys know, because I know we started putting down some stuff in the upper left-hand corner of the island. Scott, and you had some cool presentations. I want to totally grab one of those prims with you had your presentations in Google Slides. I got to totally copy that.
oh yeah,
So I'm like, this is brilliant. But I started putting content down because we talked about, and I just took the liberty of like, I have this cool building, and I'm going to put some stuff there, and I put some pretty waterfalls, and I landscape to make it look like, uh, you know, I can never. I used to be in real estate, you guys. I was in real estate for about 10 years. I can never let an ocean view go to waste. So I gotta have so I'm gonna have a bonfire, a big circular bonfire, just some nice place to hang out, and areas for exhibits or whatever. But nothing's set in stone. I just wanted to let you know I put some stuff down there in case you're like, who did this? Who's taking control like she owns the
I've
place?
done everything. It all had Bethany Winslow as owner. So
I was like, I didn't even email anybody. I was all like, it was just one day where I was like, oh, I said I would start. I told Al that I had some ideas and Eileen that I would put something there, and I was just like, I'll just throw some stuff down and hope, and yeah, it doesn't have to stay. I just for an idea.
I was kind of scoping a spot. It's like, oh, never mind. I'll just put mine over by my pavilion over there.
I
No.
haven't.
I just put stuff down that just to sort of sketch it
Yeah,
out. But
the corner ocean view. Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, it's still it's coming along,
Still
but
stayed on the island.
it is. It's like, well, we can't just we don't want to just don't want to just
I
stick a
love.
building on the edge there.
I love that. I have one of those little corner spots on my island, sort of a private area that I could go to, and it's got a
Meditation
beautiful.
corner.
Yeah, yes. So I haven't checked it out yet, but I will check it out, and I may help enhance it a little bit.
Yes, please do, because I'm like I got so much stuff to do with Limeland. I don't even know what to do with myself. And now I got to go like, oh God, make sure I hope my NPC doesn't break my world.
Well, I guess the one thing we have to realize, there's an overhead on how long it takes the island to open. And,
Yeah.
we really push everybody in Empire State College. We've got what we call open education resources, so they don't have to buy a lot of textbooks. They're supposed to get a good computer, but often they don't have as robust as a computer or internet as you'd like. So it's just a matter of the more you put out, the longer it'll take for the islands to open. So just kind of keep that in mind. And you'll notice that yourself, when you go in, how long it can take to open. Like Salee has wonderful stuff, but her
But it's
islands can take
15 minutes to
3 or
open.
4 minutes to open at
Yeah,
times. And then people think they're broken. So that's the downside. But so far, I mean, this island has lots and lots of space for prims. So we shouldn't have any trouble there. And I love it. I was looking. I just have one rogue student who keeps on doing things, and I thought I saw her name there, and it's, oh no, Michelle Francis is at it again, but she's very creative, very artistic. But she's a little crazy, and who knows what she could do. So, but I think that's why I was being a little careful with putting terraforming on for students. But anyway, so I'm going to have to leave before too long. But Scott, if you give me your blurb for,
Well,
and I'll start promoting this, and it's always just a matter of promoting things. I find people are really overwhelmed now with too many things to do. So, the
yeah,
nag
that's just
factor
it.
always
And if
works.
the email headline doesn't have relevant, pertinent, or exciting data in it, it could sit there unopened in my email box until I totally forget about it. So, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's a key.
I think your subject line always has to be a tweet. I always try to put the key things there,
Yeah,
because people don't have time to read it. Maybe they'll see it later when they go back and say, oh, yeah, that's what it was.
yeah,
So,
yeah, exactly. I'm triaging my emails. So,
yeah.
all right, well, ladies and gentlemen, this is lovely. I will see you all next Wednesday, same time, same channel.
Yep.
Okay.
And
We're going to be
yeah,
ready
if
to
we can put something
learn.
together for iLearn, that'd be great. But if we don't, we'll just be tourists.
But I'll keep thinking about that because I'm gonna do something for myself, but I want multiple colleagues involved, so I will definitely not let that go. I'll
Yeah, if you
I'll
can
have
get
something.
some
I'll have an idea or something maybe then next week.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
I'll ride shotgun, so that's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, and
Cool.
I'll show up. Especially if you get a panel, we can all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. If
that
I,
gives us
I
a
can
little
sketch
time.
out something like say, hey, I want you guys to let's each talk about this or something. I'll figure something out. I'll look at I'll come up with something.
Okay.
Thanks, Bethany.
Okay. All right, you guys have a
Okay,
good
bye,
one.
everybody. And
Thank
keep
you.
giving us beautiful ocean landscapes.
Yeah.
Oh, and like I said, the waterfalls, that little thing, that's just something I got, and it's a lot of creme, so literally nothing has to stay. I just stuck there, so I was like, ooh, that's really pretty. I want this pretty, yeah.
I'll
So.
gift you a few too because I've stolen some of Eileen's waterfalls and I think I still have them in my inventory. So.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think they all came from Linda Kelly.
I've been for OpenSim grabbing any good content I could find. I've got it's.
I know.
Do you have a fire, a bonfire? Because I have one on my I could certainly.
Oh, I could totally go. Yeah, I don't have a bonfire. In fact, I need one for linolens, and so I, put one down or give one to me. That'd be great.
Marion Test right now has a bonfire. It's so ugly. I made it flat and just put stuff that I found. It's got no aesthetic to it. And when I even say that, I have to use pre-made islands because I have no eye. But, I think there's some bonfires there too, a couple of them. So anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to go. Have a
Alrighty.
good week, everybody.
You as
See you
well.
guys later.
Yeah, we'll see you
Bye.
all next week.
Bye-bye
Bye.
all.
Karen? So that what fallout? Oh yeah, I am still taping.